All right, it's the Giants content you've all been waiting for. Blue Rush Times, the Giants Nation show. Bobby Skinner is on with us so we can get his thoughts on the new vibe Giants is what I'm calling them, Bobby. Not the New York Giants. These dudes are looking like there's just a new vibe within the locker room, within the building as well. What's up, man? How you feeling going into the season, bro?
Always excited for a new season, no matter what the team looks like. But like you said, for the first time, there's new quarterback blood in there. And for Giants fans, this is only the third time in 20 years
Mm,
that's happened because we had so much time with Eli. When it didn't hate those years,
yep.
but the last 5 years have been up and down and mostly down. So now you get Russell Wilson, former Super Bowl champ, and a first round rookie. Like there's a lot of things to look forward to.
Yep. Go back. I want to, and then let's go a little throwback Thursday right now for this next question or this next topic of conversation for us. I want to know about where your vibes were back then compared to where they're at now. So go back, take yourself back, Bobby, to where the Giants had just signed Russell Wilson. Then I want your thoughts on when they drafted Jaxson Dart. Think of what your outlook was on the team then. Now, fast forward to right now, after the preseason, the 53-man roster is set. How much has your outlet, your mindset about this team changed from what earlier in 2025 to where they are right now?
Not too much besides
Oh,
the fact of what I'm saying overall, the plan with Jackson Dart. That's the
okay.
thing that I've been trying to get a hold of what they're going to do. And not even just when he's going to play games, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. But what you see from preseason isn't just, oh, great performances by Jackson Dart. It's the fact that Brian Dable is going to do the most to keep him comfortable as in his transition into the NFL when he plays, right? We saw hurry up offense in preseason. When do you ever see that? You saw him using the things that they did well at Ole Miss and just kind of putting confidence into him, not trying to test him and besides, little tests like go in for a play stuff,
Yep.
but like not trying to have him look bad, just trying to give him everything that he's comfortable with and then adding the harder stuff later. And it's clear they have a plan with Jackson Dart, and that's a big part of it is making him comfortable.
Yeah, and I would even go to say like an comfortable, because like you said, if going no huddle, like you said, that's something he was comfortable with in Ole Miss, but putting it on tape, making him go out there and run a 2 minute or a no huddle drill. Same thing with them running empty formation. Like when do you see a rookie quarterback in empty formation? Because a lot of them don't know how to protect themselves when it comes to a free blitzer coming off the edge. Just think of what Anthony Richardson went through in his preseason game where he messed up the pinky. That was someone unaccounted for, but the quarterback's supposed to account for him. So, and then like you said, throwing Jackson Dart unexpectedly in there for that one play, just to show him what it could be like if now they were playing with real bullets and he had to step into a game for a play for Russell Wilson. You saw Jameis do it and he threw the touchdown to Jalen Hyatt. So I think like when it comes to every test that Brian Dable threw at Jackson Dart, he aced it, and you could see the fan base like they were seeing it all in real time. And between Jackson Dart, Russell Wilson, and Jameis Winston, it's like someone said before, I think Matt Hasselback said that Joe Shane and these guys went overkill on the quarterback room, but it's almost like he had to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they've prepared themselves that if Jackson Dart wasn't ready to be a backup quarterback, they had Jameis Winston, who started 80 plus games in there. And they signed him for next year to be a backup. And then Russ, I thought they brought those two guys in to not draft a quarterback, and that's
Yeah.
why they brought in both those guys. But like you said, they did a little overkill, but I think Jameis's 2 year contract makes it make sense because he'll be the backup next year. But I mean, I just liked what I saw out of Dart, right? Even when he didn't make the right read, that Gunnar Olszewski 50-yard play on last Thursday,
Yep.
he made the wrong read on it, but he improvised and finds Gunnar again for 50 yards and makes a play out of that. So they prepared themselves if he wasn't like seeing those types of things, but he has.
Yeah, and I love. I'm glad you mentioned that play. And it was two more plays, two throws he made in that game. One that was dropped by Bo Collins, another that was dropped by Jalen Hyatt. You just think of like the accuracy, like the location where he put that football. Man, this kid he's NFL ready. I think it's going to be sooner than later before we start to see him play. And by that I mean I think Brian Dable was going to have maybe one to five scripted plays for Jaxson Dart to throw him in the game and get him 1 to 2 reps early in the season. So I'm gonna ask you, how do you want to see the introduction to the start of the Jaxson Dart era? What would be your ideal situation, and what would be your worst case introduction as well?
I think the worst case is they are 0-3 and they throw him in to save the season, right? The plan should bring him in should be for development, not to spark. Brian Dable uses the quote to start a spark, not to spark the team. It should be to develop him. That's why you brought in Russ. That's why you brought in Jameis. However many games that is, 5 to 7, anyone could pick there, but somewhere in that range. I don't want them putting him in there out of desperation, because here's the thing: is he should be afforded struggles. He's a rookie quarterback. He was taken 25th overall. It's not about success year one with Jaxson Dart. It's about success year two. So whatever plan they have, I hope they stick as close to that as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be exciting watching this kid when he does get into the game. But I think Russ has done enough to where he deserves that QB1 title. He deserves to be the starter on the team. And you just see the overall vibe that he's been able to bring to that locker room. And it's infectious. Guys are playing what I feel better than what they played last year. We were able to evaluate guys that we couldn't evaluate last year. So when Joe Shane said that they were a quarterback away, looking at the roster to where it is right now, remove the quarterback room out of it, better right now in 2025 going into the season than it was in 2024 going into the season?
Surely. I mean, the offense stayed the same outside of the upgrade of the quarterback position. On defense, you added Paulson Adebo, Javon Holland, and then the guy I'm most excited for, Abdul Carter. I think he's going to be a top 5 player on the team off rip. So they've created something where they can have something that offenses are just worried about preparing for every single week. It's been a while since the Giants defense has had that, even when they've had some better seasons with that pass rush. You have Dexter Lawrence, who's top 2 or top 1 or 2 at his position, Abdul Carter, and then if you get Brian Burns as like a number 3 and Kayvon as a 4, that's a nice luxury to have. So certainly better. Schedule's a little tougher, but they're no doubt a better team.
I love the breakdowns that you do, and you don't just focus on the premier players, the big name players. You go into the nitty gritty, you go into the trenches, and you find some guys that you think are going to have breakout seasons or sleeper picks. So who's some guys that you got your eye on this year that right now maybe they're not making a lot of noise, they're not getting a lot of retweets, but sometime by the end of the season that they could be a household name in Giants Nation?
The guy I'm really hoping for, and I can see it happening, is Tyler Nubin. As year one, he was a competent player. He didn't give up a lot of passes. He was a solid run defender, but he wasn't a playmaker. He had 1 pass breakup, 0 interceptions. We drafted him from Minnesota to be that playmaker. I think he had, 11 interceptions in his final 3 seasons of college. That's what he's got to be. And I think he's an extremely intelligent player, but as a rookie, you're just kind of everything's coming at you at once, and you're looking to not make mistakes. And he didn't make those mistakes, but now it's about being a step ahead. And I think the addition of Javon Holland there too, to have another, high level player next to him instead of Pinnock, who was just kind of do his job type of player.
Yeah.
I think he's the guy. And again, he's the 2nd round pick from that draft class. Year 2 is when you see guys make the jump. It's usually not year 3, it's year 2. Well, it's just kind of time for Tyler Nubin to make that jump.
Yeah, I think T. Noob's going to have, for that exact reason, what you're saying. Like, you can't expect a rookie to come in and kind of be the leader on the back end. So they definitely upgraded in that free safety position where Javon Holland's going to allow T. Noob to be T. Noob. My guy, I think, is going to be Thomas Fidone, man. I like the routes he was able to kind of run throughout the course of training camp. He put some of those routes on tape, especially in the Patriots game where he ran that little out route for the touchdown. Got some good separation, got vertical on his route. So it looks like he's got some sort of route discipline to him. And he's got a little weird athleticism to him as well. So I can't wait to see if Thomas Fidone, how much he kind of grows and adapts within this offense and how much they use him throughout the course of a season. But I got to put you on the spot for this last one, man. Overall season prediction record. What's your final thoughts going into week 1?
I usually save the record prediction for our preview
Yep.
show.
Go ahead. I get that.
This is where the good vibes and stuff. I don't like to use those terms because at the end of the day, it's about winning games. And even if they're losing games, but there's progress in the offseason, we say, oh, that's fine. No one sticks to that script. I think that schedule is brutal, man. And I think it's the most important thing for the Giants is week 1 and week 2. The Commanders, as talented as they are on offense and can be a top 5 offense in the NFL, that defense is untalented. The Cowboys, they've got issues. If they don't have Micah Parsons, that's another untalented defense. If the Giants are looking to make some noise, I think starting 2-0 is the key to that. And then you get the Saints in week 5, and you have an option to be 3-2, and then you can, stay afloat until you get to that end of the season where the schedule gets a little bit easier. So that's the thing I'm looking for the Giants. Win week 1, win week 2, at worst 1-1. Because if you're 0-2, I don't see how you get out of that.
Yeah, and those two games mean so much with both those teams being in the division as well. Bobby Skinner, man, looking forward to collabing on a lot more content throughout the season, man. And shoot, happy 2025 season, bro. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Another year, let's do it.